Okay, so remember that story of the adult woman posing as a child to murder her adoptive family? Well, Investigation Discovery just made a documentary about the whole event, and it is shocking. I think the biggest takeaway is that Natalia wasn't some evil mastermind. She was being severely abused by the Barnett family. And there's one scene in the documentary that just really stands out to me. So the Barnetts had Natalia aged up 14 years to 22 years old so they could put her in this apartment that was definitely not ADA compliant. And the mom, Christine, would drive her Cadillac up to this low-income apartment, drop off the groceries that she bought for her, and would make Natalia carry them inside. She wouldn't even get out of the car to help. So this video was taken by Michael, the dad, and one day he comes into the apartment and sees that Natalia has donuts. And he starts losing his mind. He's like, who brought you these donuts? We didn't buy you donuts. You always lie to us. You never tell us the truth. Tell me who got you these donuts right now. And while she's getting yelled at, she looks terrified, as if disobeying the Barnetts was the worst thing she could do. Even though at this point they're saying she's 22 years old and living on her own, just leave her be. It turns out that Michael knew that Child Protective Services had been called to Natalia's apartment because the neighbors noticed that she was not being taken care of. But why are you worried about CPS, Michael, if you're not doing anything wrong and she's not a child? Another really sad takeaway from the documentary is that Michael's child, Jacob, who was this wonderkind who got his PhD at 14 years old, was so traumatized by the whole event of his parents neglecting and abusing Natalia that he now just lives in his dad's basement and is not really putting all of his genius to use. I could go on for much longer about this documentary, but let me know if you watched it and what you thought.
Here are some things that are completely normal during the day, but really creepy at night. Digging holes in your backyard. I mean, it's your backyard and you're entitled to do whatever you want to it, but if I see you digging some holes in the middle of the night, I'm gonna be really concerned. Bonus creepy points if you have some trash bags next to you too. I feel bad for people who work graveyard shifts or are night owls, because it makes it difficult to do any gardening or landscaping without looking pretty creepy. They say a child's laughter is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world, but not if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Scary movies have absolutely ruined the sound of a child laughing for me, because most instances, I'm gonna assume the worst. And for some reason, little girls laughing are even more scary. Imagine being in the woods camping and you hear some little girl laughing in the distance. My brain isn't gonna think, oh cool, some family must be camping near us. No, I'm gonna think that I'm gonna get murdered or possessed by some demon. Someone knocking on your door during the day, it's annoying. Who the f is showing up at my house unannounced? It must be a salesman or worse, Mormons. That same knock at 3 in the morning? No, I'm getting murdered for sure. I'm on the 2nd floor and my only way out is to jump out the window, so I'm done for.
I shot myself in the head while on live television. I am Christine Chubbuck. Forever 29 years old, please listen to this story until the end because it's horrifying. It was in 1974. I worked as a journalist and presenter for a local television channel in Florida, the XLT-TV. I was passionate about my work, but at the same time I felt lonely and depressed. One morning, during a live program, I decided to do something that would shock everyone. No one knew what was going on in my mind. I had prepared a special statement for the program after presenting some topics. I turned to the camera and said, in accordance with the channel's preference for sensational news, you are about to witness a live-on-air suicide for the first time. I took out a concealed gun and shot Maya in the head in front of the audience and my colleagues. It was a horrifying scene and I died a few hours later in the hospital. There are too many people suffering in silence. Do not underestimate anyone, because you never know what is going on in someone else's head.
Videos that seem innocent but have a terrifying backstory. This video shows a man playing Dance Dance Revolution being unknowingly recorded by some people who are making fun of him. The man, Adam Lanza, 6 months later would shoot his mother in the head 4 times while she was asleep and then drive to Sandy Hook Elementary School, where he would murder 6 adults and 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7. A popular 18-year-old CSGO YouTuber uploaded a reveal of the supercar he had just bought. He had a stream account containing around $100,000 of in-game items, which was banned 6 months later, causing him to have a mental breakdown and commit suicide. He intentionally drove the vehicle into a van, killing him, a mother, and her 12-year-old daughter. This video shows comic magician Tommy Cooper having a heart attack on live TV. His audience, along with the assistant, thought it was all part of the show, so they laughed along while he died on stage. This video shows a Russian influencer's birthday party where she decided to throw dry ice into her swimming pool for the visual effect. Sadly, 3 people died due to carbon dioxide poisoning. It's February 2017, and a man named David Krupa hands a detective a tablet. Inside is a memory card that he thinks contains the evidence that will help them catch his stalker and allow his life to finally go back to normal. Together they sift through thousands of deleted images, but there's one photo that is not like the others. And at first, the detective isn't quite sure what he's looking at. Reddish tones, skin? But then they see a familiar tattoo. And it's this detail that begins to unravel the 5-year mystery of a deranged stalker. Rewind to spring 2012. Dave Krupa is 37 years old and has just moved to Omaha, Nebraska and is looking for a fresh start. He's recently ended a 12-year relationship with his ex-girlfriend Amy, who gave him an ultimatum basically saying, "You need to marry me or I'm out." Dave soon joins the dating site Plenty of Fish to see if he can find someone who just wants to have a good time and isn't looking for something serious. That's where he meets Shanna Liz Golyer, who simply goes by Liz. At first, things are great. The two regularly go on dates, which are pretty casual, but when things start to become more intimate, Liz wants something serious. Dave, on the other hand, isn't quite ready to get into a relationship yet, so he tells her that he wants to see other people. In October of 2017, Dave is working at his auto shop when a woman walks in that catches his eye. Her name is Carrie Farver, and she comes into the shop because her SUV is acting up again. A few days pass by, and while scrolling on the dating site Plenty of Fish, Dave comes across Carrie's profile, so he reaches out and sets up a date. However, just 2 weeks after seeing each other, he starts falling for this girl, and thinks to himself, maybe I am ready for another serious relationship. On November 13th, 2012, Dave kisses Carrie goodbye, saying that he'll see her later after she gets back from work. A few hours pass by, and that's when Dave gets a text. Carrie messages him suggesting that the two should move in together, but Dave disagrees. And when he replies no, she texts him back in all caps, "Fine. I don't ever want to see you again." And soon, Liz starts receiving messages too, demanding that she stay away from Dave or something bad was gonna happen. One night, she pulls into her garage and sees another message. Not on her phone, but spray painted on her wall reading, "From Dave." Liz's house is torched and burned to the ground. Dave is sent a picture of a body tied up in the trunk of a car, and the two both receive a fake obituary of Liz's death. Meanwhile, this consistent harassment is actually bringing Dave and Liz closer, and they bond over the horrors that this woman is putting them through. One night, while Dave is driving home in January of 2013, he spots a familiar vehicle in the parking lot of his apartment. Upon closer inspection, he realizes that it's Carrie's SUV, so he calls the police, who find little to no evidence surrounding her disappearance. However, they do manage to scrape a fingerprint off a mint container in her car, and this DNA will become crucial later in the story. This pattern of psychological and sometimes physical torment goes on for years until Dave finally decides that he's had enough. He changes his phone number, purchases a gun, and moves to Council Bluffs, Iowa, where he's forced to end his relationship with Liz. Almost immediately after the move, the gun goes missing. After Dave gets settled into his new home, the local sheriff's department takes a special interest in his case. They request that both Dave and Liz hand over their phones so they can trace Carrie's digital footprint, but when they download the data, they make a shocking revelation. After sifting through images, videos, passwords, and previous locations, they discover that it isn't Carrie who's sending these messages, it's none other than Shanna Liz Goyer. On Liz's phone, they discovered that she has 20 separate email accounts, all being used to impersonate Carrie. As detectives continue building their case, gathering evidence against Liz, she actually shows up at the sheriff's department to file a complaint. She proceeds to claim that Amy Flora, Dave's ex-wife, is a total stalker. Cleverly, one of the officers says, if only Amy would implicate herself, meaning reveal herself to be the perpetrator, and thus setting in Liz's head a psychological trap. Now, as intelligent and conniving as she appears to be, the next day Liz dials 911 and tells them that Amy Flora has just shot her in the leg. And when investigators ask for more proof, Liz forwards them several emails from Amy confessing to both shooting her and impersonating Dave's ex-girlfriend Carrie. Liz thinks this plan is foolproof. It is the perfect cover-up. But the IP address attached to the emails, along with the countless other messages, all trace back to Liz. Further, police are able to match the fingerprint from the mint container in Carrie's car to Liz's DNA. And to top it all off, the bullet that was shot into Liz's leg is from the barrel of Dave's missing gun. In December 2016, Liz's case is taken to trial where she faces being charged with first-degree murder and arson. Prosecutors say that this is a case of obsession. During the trial, Dave hands over a tablet containing a memory card. On it, a grainy picture of a foot with a tattoo. It's identified that the foot had been decomposing for several days when the photo was taken, and the tattoo was a Chinese symbol identical to Carrie's, finally proving that she was dead. On May 24, 2017, Shanna Liz Goyer is found guilty of first-degree murder and arson and is sentenced to life in prison. She's currently serving out her sentence where she continues to behave in evil, manipulative ways, not revealing where Carrie's body is and denying her family of closure.
Why so serious? He comes at me with the knife. Why so serious?
It's been raining like crazy in Texas, bro. Ooh!
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Bang, 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 bang goes the farmer's gun.
Neredesin küçük kız? Seni bulamıyorum. Neredesin?
Follow for more.
Watch this.
Isn't it? Future in hand.
430 abandoned flats, and there is something in the window.
Open. Yo. You see movement then? No. Move the light. Yo. Yo. The fuck is that?